If you listen closely, you can hear the ghosts of past residents swapping stories and planning park events. What becomes of these parks whose empty pads lay like gravestones in a cemetery, marking the homes that once lived there? Mobile home and manufactured home parks have been built in Florida for many decades. Toward the end of the last century, many mobile home parks were sold as municipalities encroached around them, and the land became many times more valuable for other uses, such as apartments, condominiums, or shopping malls. But not every deal went through, and occasionally I have found ghost parks. Looking at the empty pads where homes once rested, one can only imagine the friends and families that made their lives here for years and perhaps decades. Will these parks stay looking like mobile home cemeteries forever? Join us and stay to the end to find out. In late 2017, I was elected to the board of directors of both the National Manufactured Homeowners Association and the Federation of Manufactured Homeowners of Florida. I started to take a greater interest in parks around the state and around the country. I knew parks closed, but it seemed pretty uncommon. Then one day I saw a for sale sign on a rather large RV mobile home park only a few miles from where I lived. This was my first exposure to how ghost parks are created. That park was Shady Rest in Sebastian, Florida, and it was right next door to the Home Depot. It was a vibrant mix of RVs and mobile homes that was very popular with the Canadian crowd. Prices were reasonable, and folks I talked to returned every year. I guess it didn't sell right away, but within a year, they were clearing out all the homes and had closed the park. Many looked to be in good shape, and I assumed they were abandoned to the park owner. Demolition had begun in earnest, and I'm not sure if these homes were destroyed or sold. In 2019, I resigned from the FMO Board of Directors and accepted the position of District 4 President in an effort to actually bring help and understanding to my neighbors in nearby communities. One of the first missions I undertook was to visit every park in the 4-county FMO district. My next exposure to ghost parks came when I was visiting parks in St. Lucie County. Right next to an active park where some friends lived, I spotted this piece of land covered with empty pads. I did a little research and I discovered this had been a separate community called Pleasure Cove. This park had major damage from both Hurricane Francis and Hurricane Jeanne in 2004. The residents rebuilt their homes, but in July of 2005, the park owner issued eviction notices based on a change in land use. Residents who had just spent significant amounts rebuilding their homes objected and vowed to fight. In October of 2005, Hurricane Wilma struck the final blow. With no power and a sewer system that backed up daily, the residents gave up their fight. The property was sold to a group of real estate developers under the name of Fort Pierce Homes, LLC in October of 2005. The park was ultimately cleaned up, but whatever deal Fort Pierce Homes, LLC had in mind, it apparently failed to come to fruition as the park sat empty for many, many years. In January 2021, I was researching communities in Indian River County, and I ran across another mystery, Holiday Village. In 2003, Holiday Village was a vibrant mobile home park. The prospectus issued in 1995 listed the park as a 55-plus property with 128 lots. By July 2005, We see the clubhouse and pool facilities are gone, as well as many homes. It's still a mystery to me exactly what closed this park. This image, taken in 2012, shows only a few homes left in the park. The only thing left by 2014 were the paths that homes once occupied. These sat like gravestones, marking where a vibrant community of 128 homes had once been. When I visited the park in 2021, it had become quite overgrown and showed no signs of activity. A check of records at DBPR showed it had closed. The property record showed it was owned by Manufactured Home Communities Incorporated, whose address is listed as the Chicago headquarters of Equity Lifestyle Properties, or ELS. In 2019, Riverside Village was a small park listed at 95 lots. There was a clubhouse, shuffleboard, and laundry. By March of 2020, the lots were empty, leaving only a few cottages and service buildings. It is my understanding the park owner closed the park to redevelop it. I first saw this park in June of 2021 while filming other parks in the Jensen Beach area. I literally drove by, looked over, and said, "Wow, look at that, an empty park with waterfront." As you can see, it had not changed much since March of 2020. Will something come of this park? Stay tuned. In February of 2021, I returned to Shady Rest in Sebastian to see what kind of progress they had made. The homes were completely gone, with a couple of buildings left that I assumed were an office and a maintenance shed. The pads were still there, acting as grave markers for the mobile homes and RVs that had made this a community for decades. It looks like they left the swimming pool, giving you a faint idea there might be some hope the community could be restored. I drove down to what had been Riverside Village again in October of 2021, and wow, what a change. It was pretty clear that Sun Communities was building something big. The old pads were gone, and the ground was pretty much leveled. It looked like they were bringing in the pieces needed for early sewer and water work. I assume they left the old clubhouse to use as an office building. It's still not clear what's going here, though, so stick with us. In October of 2022, I revisited the property in Fort Pierce that had been Pleasure Cove. There was a lot of activity, and clearly something was being built. I looked into the building permit, and it was held by the same folks that owned the adjacent park, Sandhill Shores. I kind of assumed they were just building an annex where they could put more homes and possibly a second clubhouse. It was exciting to see a property like this coming back as a mobile home park. In September of 2024, I revisited these properties. Shady Rest had seen little change. There was a table set up next to the pool area as a sort of monument to the good times that I'm sure had been here for decades. As you can see, the property remains as quiet as a graveyard on New Year's Eve. Holiday Village was still quiet as a church mouse, although it does look like someone occasionally mows the grass. Boy, was I surprised, though, when I got to the old Pleasure Cove property. It was now called Savannah's Ridge and had seen considerable improvement. They built a beautiful clubhouse with swimming pool, and what the heck is that? It looks like a playground and a basketball court. I'll be danged. What a difference. They left some of the trees, but removed all of the pads. Those are large single-wide homes, perfect for a young family starting out or seniors who want to downsize but still have a spare bedroom for the grandkids to visit. Looks like they're just getting started with the installation. I wonder if they're going to get carports. It's going to be really interesting to see how they build this out. Look for it to be featured again in a future video. The clubhouse area is beautiful, and I even see some shaded seating by the pool. The Coming Soon sign street side tells the story. This is going to be an all-ages community. We need affordable housing for young folks, and I'm excited to see it being built right here in Fort Pierce. The outcome on the property that used to be Riverside Village in Jensen Beach couldn't be more different. Sun Communities has built Ocean View. This is a smaller community with homes similar to what they are building in the nearby larger community, Ocean Breeze Resort. There are 71 homes here, and many have spectacular views of the Intercoastal Waterway and Hutchinson Island. I like a small community because you'll get to know virtually all of your neighbors. The community features a fishing dock as well as launching facilities for paddleboards or kayaks. Any of you that know me well know that I would be on the fishing dock every day. The clubhouse has a heated pool and a beautiful pool deck overlooking the Intercoastal Waterway. They also appear to have a smaller pool, which I'm guessing is for children. Ocean View is also an all-ages community. All of the homes in this park are elevated by what looks to be 8 or 9 feet on columns. I looked at some recent listings, and I saw homes in here from 855 square feet with 1 bedroom and 1 bath up to around 1,100 square feet with 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. These homes seem like they would be very durable in a hurricane. The literature says they are built with impact glass, and being on columns, even major storm surge shouldn't affect them. It's not quite as close living as in a condominium, but there's also not a lot of lawn to mow. Sun Communities has similar homes in parks on Marathon, Key West, and elsewhere. In this video, we looked at 4 ghost parks, and thankfully, we saw 2 of them come back to life as new communities and new opportunities. Are there any ghost parks in your neighborhood? Leave me a note in the comments if you have one nearby. I hope you enjoy this video. If you're interested in Florida manufactured home living, be sure to join my inner circle and get our free resource guide. You can sign up at gotoinnercircle.com. If you would like to see more videos on Florida manufactured home parks, just click on the link. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.